Hey guys, Terry here. Welcome to home again. Hey, today on my adventures, I'm going to try to put together my own water fountain. So why don't you stick around and we'll see what we can come up with. Well, to start off, obviously we're going to need a fountain pump. So this is the one my sweetie got me. It's a 300 gallon per hour. You don't need one this strong. I probably bought it stronger than I needed it, but this is only a temporary fountain setup because we're renting here, and so I'll be able to take this with me, and then next time hopefully I will be able to make a fountain in the ground like that flows over rocks and things. That's what I did in our other houses and I really liked it. So I found this one at Lowe's, and I think it was about $50, which was kind of pricey. Like I said, it's probably more powerful than you would need for the kind of fountain we're going to set up today, but I wanted to get a more powerful one so I could put it in something bigger later. But they run anywhere, I think, from 25 or 30 to 50, some probably even more than that. But I found this one at Lowe's and it works great for what I'm using it for. So if you're not familiar with how these work, they just keep recycling whatever water they're in. They suck it up and spit it out. This pump came with two little attachments so I could choose from two different hose sizes. You also have the option of buying these little poles you can put in them instead of a hose so your fountain will spray straight up. Next, I needed a container to put my water in, and I had no idea what I was going to use until I came across this little beauty here. This was also at Lowe's. It's originally meant to be a flower pot, but I thought this would work great for my fountain. It was about $15, $16, I think, and I thought it would work perfect. Well, I have my container for my water to be in, and now I needed something for my water to flow out of. So I found this old well pump after snooping around in my big brother's barn, and he said he didn't have any use for it and I could have it. So I thought that was so sweet of him. I did buy him some pizza. But anyways, I was really excited because I thought this was going to be a really cool look to have it flowing out of the old, I guess that's what you call it, a well pump. So I had to give it a scrubbing. It was kind of dusty from being in the garage. So next I needed a way to suspend my well pump above my bucket of water. So I bought this board just in the scrap pile for $2.50. So as you can see, we cut a little niche out of the center of this board. You'll have to excuse our bad saw job here, but all we had is a handsaw at the cabin. So we had to make do with what we had. My sweetie helped me do this, and you can see we sawed it through about 3/4 of the way. We wanted it to be able to get that well pump pipe through and have it far enough into the board so the spout would spit out into the bucket and not on the board. So it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's going to be covered up and nobody's going to see that. And we took some spray paint and sprayed this really good because we wanted to have all the wood sealed so with the splashing water or whatever it wouldn't warp or rot. So this next clip I actually took after I had been using the pump for a couple months. I had forgotten in the process of filming to show you how I set it up. So you just put the little hose in there. I bought a certain size hose. When I got it, it was clear, but the well water kind of made it clouded and turned a little orange from the rust in the water. But this is your dial on your pump. This will regulate how strong the flow of water comes out. The pump also comes with little suction cups on the bottom. Where I'm rubbing my thumb right now is like a little vent or filter. So when you clean it down the road, every once in a while I use a little toothbrush to get any leaves or anything that is sucked up. I bought a little plate from the dollar store to stick the suction cups on and put it in the bottom. But you don't really need to worry about that. The great thing about this little pump is it has an automatic shut off if the water level gets too low, so the pump won't burn itself out. That's a really nice feature. So next I needed to do a trial run to see if this idea was really going to work. So as you can see, I zip tied the pump to the deck before I put my board under. My board was still drying. I actually let it dry a couple days. And it looked like it was going to work. So I shut the pump off and I got my board to see how this was all going to look. And these pumps are heavier than they look, because there it goes. So hoist it back up onto that board and see if the whole idea was really going to work. And it looks like we cut the notch just the right length. Next thing here, you see me doing some brainstorming, trying to figure out how I'm going to make this work, how I'm going to hide that hose, what angle I'm going to put it at. I end up zip tying the hose to the handle. I'll show you later, after the fact, after I've been using it for a couple months, how I did attach it. But right now I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to make it all work. I could have run the hose up the center of it if I took out the valve or whatever it is in the center of that pump, but if I tried to run it straight up, it would hit the mechanism that actually sucks the water up out of the well. And I didn't want to take the whole pump apart and destroy it that way, because you never know, in the future of our world I just might need a well pump one day. So anyways, I found a way to zip tie it down, which I'll show you a close-up of that in a little bit, and I topped off the water, tried to clean up the mess I made. And the reason I made this board so long, of course it had to clear the circumference of the bucket there, but I had the idea to put plants or flowers on each end of the board, you know, kind of like the finishing touches, to make it a little prettier. So this is when I originally potted the flowers, and then when you see the final picture, like I said, they've been growing a while. Now it's finally time for the finishing touches. Get to wipe it all down and put my flowers on. And this, like I said before, was when I had emptied it and cleaned it out. So this is after I'd been using it a couple months. Here I'm showing you how the nasty little squirrels in my neighborhood had chewed my plant up. It did look as pretty as the one on the right, but not when they were done with it. Anyways, oh well, part of living in the woods. Once it's running, the board and everything stays nice and dry. I just had everything really wet. Like I said, I had did a thorough cleaning out of this, putting new water in, and the pump was dusty and dirty, and so I just splashed water all over the place. So in the end, when you see a lot of water on the board or dripping, it's not because the pump was leaking or anything like that. It was just from me washing it up, trying to get it clean again. And in a little bit, I will show you how I fastened that hose down. But here we go. I like it. Now here's how I fastened the hose, and you'll have to excuse how nasty it looks now. Like I said, this is after a couple months, and I didn't know, but my hose did cloud, and it turned kind of orange from the rust in the water. So in the future, I might find a better way of attaching this and doing this, but this was my first trial run, and this is what I came up with. The little white zip tie there kept the hose from crimping, and if you look closely, there's a little black one there around the pole. I fastened that one down so the hose wouldn't pop out and shoot water all over the deck. What I'm rubbing my finger down right there is where this valve is, why I couldn't run the hose straight up into the spout. Not a big deal, to me at least. I liked it overall, but I'm sure there's better ways I could have done it. But it was fun. It was my trial run, and maybe in the future I'll set it up differently. It was just a fun project. If you want to make something like this and you can't find a well pump, I mean, I would look at garage sales, yard sales, stuff like that. If you can't find one, I wouldn't get discouraged, because the fun part of this project is getting creative and figuring out a fun, creative way to make one of your own. I often thought if I hadn't found this well pump, I might have used like an old watering can, run the hose up through the bottom or whatever to the spout of the watering can and make it look like it was, you know, overflowing into the bucket. There's, you know, let your imagination run wild. Just getting the pump and a container to hold your water is the beginning, and then you take it from there and get creative and make it your own. When we move and we get our own home again and our own yard, I will probably take this pump and make an in-ground, like little babbling brook or whatever. I've had these at a couple of our houses before, and I really enjoy it, where you have the water coming up and cascading over rocks, and it sounds more natural. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to make something like that, but I will be able to use the same little pump I bought from Lowe's. So it's kind of fun because you could change it up. Once you get the equipment, you can change it up and make it different every year if you want. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. I hope you come back next time. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I sure would love that. It really helps out my channel. Thanks again. Take care and God bless.